The pharaohs of ancient Egypt are some of the most famous people in history. You probably know about their massive pyramids and their love of gold, but there are more secrets to these ancient rulers that you might not know about. Here are 5 secrets you didn't know about the pharaohs. Number 1, the pharaohs were often buried with their chariots. Chariots were an important part of Egyptian culture and were used for transportation, war, and even funerals. It was common for the pharaohs to be buried with their chariots so that they could use them in the afterlife. The Egyptians believed that the pharaoh would continue to rule from the afterlife, and they would need their chariots to get around. The chariots were usually placed in the burial chamber with the mummy, and sometimes they were even built into the walls of the tomb. One of the most famous examples of a chariot being buried with a pharaoh is King Tut's tomb. The discovery of his tomb in 1922 by Howard Carter was one of the most significant archaeological discoveries of the 20th century. And one of the things that made it so important was the fact that it was the only tomb of a pharaoh that had been found relatively intact. This is because the entrance to the tomb had collapsed, which had sealed it off from looters. When Carter opened the tomb, he found that many of the treasures that had been buried with King Tut, including his chariot, were still there. Number 2, they had harems. A harem is a group of women who live with a man, typically in a royal or noble household, and are kept for his pleasure. In ancient Egypt, the pharaohs were allowed to have harems of both male and female lovers. This was seen as a way for the pharaoh to ensure the continuation of the bloodline, as well as a way to keep the peace among the nobility by keeping them happy. The pharaohs' harems were often the center of court intrigue and power struggles, as the women and children within them were often used as pawns in the games of the nobility. Number 3, their wives could be their sisters. It was not uncommon for the pharaohs of ancient Egypt to marry their sisters. In fact, it was actually encouraged. The reason for this was that the pharaoh's bloodline was considered to be sacred, and so it was important to keep it pure. By marrying their sisters, the pharaohs ensured that their children would also be of the divine bloodline. This practice is actually where we got the word incest from. The ancient Egyptians did not have a word for sibling marriage, so the Greeks used the term incestuous to describe it. Number 4, female pharaohs were sometimes more powerful than male pharaohs. While the male pharaohs were generally more powerful than their female counterparts, there were a few cases where the female pharaohs were actually more powerful. This was usually because they ruled during a time when the male pharaohs were weak or ineffective. One of the most famous examples of a powerful female pharaoh was Cleopatra. She was able to maintain her power by playing the male pharaohs against each other. She also used her intelligence and wit to outmaneuver them. As we all know, she ultimately succeeded in her plan and was able to hold on to her power until her death. Number 5, there were black pharaohs. Most people don't realize that there were black pharaohs in ancient Egypt. The first black pharaoh was Akhenaten, who ruled from 1353 to 1336 BC. He was the father of King Tut. Akhenaten's wife, Nefertiti, was also black. Many of the pharaohs after Akhenaten were also black, including King Tut's successors, Ai and Horemheb. The black pharaohs were no different than their white counterparts. They just happened to be black. This is evidenced by the fact that they worshipped the same gods, built the same monuments, and followed the same customs as the white pharaohs. There are many other secrets about the pharaohs that we may never know about. These ancient rulers were truly fascinating, and there is still so much to learn about them. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to watch our other videos about ancient Egypt. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an upload. Thanks for watching.